Hello, everyone. Just trying to pin my comment here. Did it work? It did work. Hi, everyone. Lots of people entering the room. That's great. Hi, everyone. I am Sarah Leland, and this is our first Hot Docs Instagram Live, which is very exciting. And we're super honored to have all of you with us. It's great to see everyone coming in. We are going to have a special conversation today. Tonight we are welcoming filmmaker Brett Whitcomb to chat about their film A Life in Waves, which is about the incredible electronic music pioneer Suzanne Ciani. And this film is streaming for free on the Hot Docs website as part of the LG Movers and Shapers series, generously presented in partnership with LG. This series is a free documentary film showcasing. It's about movers and shapers within the arts, culture, and sports worlds. And also part of this series, beyond the film that we're discussing today, are The Gospel According to Andre, which chronicles the life of Andre Leon Talley, the great former editor of Vogue magazine. We're also showing In Search of Greatness, which looks at top athletes like Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Jerry Rice, Serena Williams, and we dissect what it takes to be number one. We are showing Made You Look, a true story about fake art, which explores the story behind the largest art fraud in American history, and True North, Inside the Rise of Toronto Basketball, which takes us into the very heart of Toronto's thriving basketball scene. But tonight we are discussing A Life in Waves with director Brett Whitcomb. Now, before Brett joins, one fun and exciting note. In celebration of this series, Hot Docs is going to be giving away 5 LG Velvet 5G phones during these Instagram Live conversations. So near the end of each conversation, including this one, we are going to be asking a good old-fashioned trivia question. And the first person to comment the correct answer in the comments here will win. So it's a really great phone. I'm actually using it right now. This thing has 5 cameras, really cool features like voice bokeh, ASMR of audio recording. It's super fast, it's super slim, it's really long-lasting battery, all that good stuff. So you have that to look forward to. But with all that said, I'm going to bring Brett in the room so we can start the conversation now. Hey, Brett.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Where are you calling from?
Alabama.
Alabama. Nice. I'm in Toronto. I'm not sure where our audience is. Um, if you are in the audience, feel free to comment where you're watching from, and we'll see if there's someone who's really far away from where we are. But have you done an Instagram Live before, Brett?
I haven't actually. I watch them all the time, when they pop up, but I haven't been in one. So
Yeah, same. I've never done one before. This is super fun. Hopefully, we don't embarrass ourselves.
we will.
Oh, someone's watching from London, UK.
Oh, nice.
In
Texas.
Texas? Nice. So thank you so much for bringing your wonderful film, A Life in Waves, to Hot Docs at Home. It just launched, so on Friday, so you can watch it for free until September 4th. But I'm sure not everyone who's watching has seen the film, had a chance to see yet. So I was wondering if you could, just to start us off, give us a little bit about the film, fill us in. What's it about?
It explores the life and work of Suzanne Ciani. So she has this incredibly prolific career that, a lot of people hadn't heard of. So, when Bradford and I set out to make the film, it was like there was so much. Once we started diving into like what she had done, it was just insane how much work she had done over her career. So we try to span the whole, breadth of her career.
And is Brad is your filmmaking partner?
hmm
So are you an electronic music buff yourself? Or how did you originally come across Suzanne's work?
I am. I've always had synthesizers and keyboards and stuff and drum machines, and Brad's always been into music as well. And Brad actually he like digs for, like a kind of obscure music, and he actually found her. He had found her album like Seven Waves a while back, and it's a great album, but we never really connected that she had also made all these like sound effects for, like movies and like audio, Atari and Coca-Cola. So like once record labels like Finders Keepers started re-releasing her music, Brad was like, "You have to listen to this. It's amazing." And then once we started digging deeper and deeper, we were just kind of blown away that no one had done any kind of biopic about her.
So, what has been the response? What have you heard since premiering the film?
Oh, it was really great. It was like the best thing we hear is that like they knew all of her work, but they never knew who was behind it. So it was really rewarding to like show people like, look at all the work that this woman has done, and like it's one person that's doing all this stuff. And once they listen to like Seven Waves, and some of her, like most people like the early electronic stuff, but she also is super huge in Japan, and they love her piano music. And so she's like, there's something for everybody when you listen to her music. So I think like the best part was just like, it was so cool. It's kind of like when you show your friends a new album that they never heard of. It was like, hey, here's like 15 albums you've never heard of.
Yeah, I like to think also if an artist is big in Japan, that's usually a really good sign, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. It's true.
Um, yeah, it's so true. After watching the film, I was shocked that she isn't more of a household name.
I know.
Because, she was on David Letterman talking about
Mhm.
synth. She did so many high-profile projects. Why do you think that is?
I, you know, I think because electronic music, at least at that time, was a kind of obscure. And so I think, like the film says, like most people would be more comfortable or used to her playing a guitar or a piano. And I think that when you have someone come into a room and they have like a wall of electronic music, it's a little like strange to people and they don't know what to think. And ambient music is kind of like something you don't like dance around and jump around at like it's not like techno or something. Some of it's very melodic and it can be a 15-minute long song. So I think for a lot of people it took a while for that to catch on, but the way she kind of used it in advertising was such a brilliant way to kind of get people's attention and also be able to make a sustainable career while at the same time releasing her own albums.
Yeah, I mean, I know that by today's standards, a lot of people might critique her reliance on certain kind of businesses because she is a virtuous musician. But
Mhm.
what would you say to that?
What were you saying? You
Well,
kind of cut out.
like she is an amazing musician. She made so many studio albums, but then she also did a ton of commercial work and she did lots of films and all of that. Like, do you think that she would have had to do that today?
No, I think it's a little more. It's the way that Finders Keepers and other record labels are able to re-release her music now. When people hear it, they're just into it. I think electronic music and modular music, and the stuff that she does where it's quadraphonic. So a lot of her albums, if you got the CD and nobody's got a quadraphonic setup, but if you did, it would be completely spatial. And she's really like into that. Like she pours every bit of herself into everything she does. So I definitely think that now is a really good time, and even 10 years ago and now is a really good time for people to start like listening to her music, and
Mm.
her some of her older work sounds like a lot of stuff that people are trying to make right now. That people are spending a lot of money on trying to find old synthesizers to get that real analog hardware sound. And she was doing that obviously back then when there were hardly any computers. So I think that now's a really amazing time to like rediscover her music for sure.
Yeah, when I was watching the film, I was so struck because I remember I saw LCD Sound System
Oh yeah.
And I saw them live, and they had one of those massive synths, and they were doing it live, and it was the most amazing thing. I mean, more amazing than some acoustic instruments, because it is this massive computer, and they're making such beautiful music.
I
Um,
agree. And
yeah.
like, it can never be the same. Every concert would be different because it's as Suzanne explains, it's like a living, breathing machine. And she kind of exclusively uses a Buchla. She definitely has used Moogs and other synthesizers, but she's, mainly like loves the Buchla synthesizer. And when you start putting all those modulars together and start creating a sound, it can change. So every single concert was completely different, and I think that's definitely what makes it special and different than, if you were singing or doing a guitar, you're going to get kind of the same show every night.
Are you the type of person who thinks that maybe the significance of electronic music has been overlooked?
Um, yeah, like I don't take it like super serious, but I definitely think that people now want kind of a more rich analog sound. They're looking for that. And that's why all these instruments, if you go to try to buy some of these synthesizers that she used back in the day, you're going to spend like $5,000 on one keyboard. And people are buying them. Like there's a market for it. So I definitely think that people are, like, I definitely think it took a while to catch up. It was kind of a futuristic thing, right?
Mhm.
Like to be doing that anyway. Like when people used to walk into her studio when she would make, like, maybe Coca-Cola walked into her studio and they saw an entire wall of synthesizers, they were like totally freaked out and just completely, like, if they wanted her to change a tiny sound, she would go to the, over there and tweak for like an hour and then come back and play the sound, and they would go, oh, that's it, you got it. So it's such a futuristic thing to begin with that I definitely think that it took a while to catch up, and it is pretty big now.
I think we have some audio files in the comments. Someone just mentioned that it's like a Leslie organ from the 60s and 70s. I don't even know what that means, but I don't know if that means anything to you, Brett. Sounds cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So I saw a quote about the film that said, before the synth-driven scores of like Stranger Things and before the robotic audio of Daft Punk, there was Suzanne Chani. And she did so many famous video games, commercials, films, and she did the sound effects for the 1970s film The Stepford Wives, which really stuck out to me, and 15 studio albums. And I read, and I don't know if this is true, but are you helping to release some of her music?
We are part of there's a local record label called Earth Libraries, and they're working with her to release the soundtrack of the film. So, and they're going to release it on like colored vinyl. It's like incredible. It's like marbled vinyl, and it's got, all the tracks from it. Bradford curated the whole thing and designed it. It looks incredible.
Wow.
And yeah, it's like that. We're working with them to release that, and they are releasing the Blu-ray of the film, and that's in 5.1, which we're really, making the film Suzanne. We wanted to like bring that, the way Suzanne kind of, like worked tirelessly to make sure her albums were perfect before they were out. We tried to like make sure that the sound of the film was spot on because we didn't want to disappoint her. So we worked with our sound mixer called Lawrence Everson, who we actually met at Hot Docs in 2012, which is kind of like just a crazy thing. But
Amazing.
we met Lawrence when we were showing our film Glow, and they had a film there with the Ross brothers, and we met him, and we were blown away by his work, and we've worked with him ever since. And he was like so stoked to come onto this project because of first of all, he's from the area that Suzanne's from in California, and also just to play with the sound design in the film. It was like, he was like a kid in a candy store working on that. So it was like, super fun for him. Like, like I can't wait to release that Blu-ray and like let people hear it in 5.1.
Amazing. I can't wait to listen to it. And for any audiophiles in the audience, we've got to see this film because the soundtrack is really incredible, as it's just all of Suzanne's work. Um, just a quick note, I just need to talk to someone about this. I was so psyched when I found out that Suzanne did the original disco version of Star Wars.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I used to dance to that as a kid over and over again.
It's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, like if for anyone watching, you gotta watch, and someone should link it in the comments
That we
below.
even making the film, we kept, when Bradford was doing all the research, he was like, "Oh, here's 15 more things she did that we didn't know today," and we'd add it to the list, and we really had to like whittle down what we wanted to focus on. But what you're talking about, we learned like, I don't know, 3 months into filming. It's like
Wow.
she's so modest, and you go to her house and you see all this. She has every tape. She's kept all the analog tapes, all the reels, so she's kept an incredible archive of her work. So that made our job a lot easier when we went to transfer all that footage for the film.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of career must you have just not to mention that, Such a big.
Insane. Yeah. And she's like she's probably touring right now. Like she never stops. Like every time I look at, we communicate sometimes, but she's so busy. Right now she's doing virtual tours, and before everything, kind of shut down because of COVID-19, she was still traveling to Europe and Denmark and just everywhere, just nonstop working, and it makes me like feel super lazy.
I
Yeah,
know it's making me feel
yeah.
super lazy, but that's super cool. I'll have to check it out. So you mentioned earlier, and I wanted to come back to this. One of the other documentaries that you are known for directing is Glow, the story of the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Mhm.
Is it true that it eventually went on to inspire the Netflix show by the same name?
It's such a like, like I don't know that like for sure directly. I know that like there was one article in Variety that said that when they first started developing it, and I never saw that article again, but I saved it and I was like, yeah, that's probably true. But
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, the show is so big itself, like it's such an amazing idea, and those everyone involved with that were so incredible that I figured something more had to come out of it. We just got lucky that when we decided to do that film, that no one had done that yet.
Well, for the sake of posterity, we'll put it in this conversation. It officially, from my perspective, totally inspired the show. Because how could it not?
All right. Well, we'll say that. I appreciate that. I like it. We didn't get, like it's just nice. I'm just glad that the people that made that show are getting the recognition that they need. Like everybody involved with that show worked so hard that it makes me so happy that they get like a bigger stage. And if we helped at all with that, that's like amazing.
So, yeah, I'm sensing a trend here, but do you think, and I might be just projecting here, but do you think that there's a reason as a filmmaker you're drawn to female identifying stories?
Um, I honestly have never really thought about like Glow was something that I obsessively watched as a kid, and I thought, I just thought it was so much fun, and I thought it was a lot more fun than WWF, and I thought the characters were amazing, and with Suzanne, it was just like definitely we thought she should be known and she's not. And I know it was an incredibly male dominated art form, back then to be in electronic music. It was all guys. And even now it's mostly dudes that do like electronic music and turning knobs and stuff. So I think it just kind of naturally happened, and it's just kind of the way Glow inspired me, and Suzanne inspired Bradford and I. It was just kind of like lucky. We were really fortunate that we were able to to
Mhm.
be given her story and tell that story. But really, like we weren't like seeking out, you know, stories like that. It just really happened naturally. And Brad is just like incredible at finding, you know, these ideas that somehow aren't done yet. You know, it's like, how is this not a movie already? You know,
Well, I'm sad. I'm sorry that Brad couldn't join us, but what's Brad up to?
he lives like 5 minutes from me, and we talk every day. And we just finished a new movie, and you know, we work every day. So
Nice. Brad, if you're watching,
I hope he's
thanks for making a
watching. I
great
don't
film.
know. I see my niece, my sister, my friends are on here though. So
Yeah, I think I have some friends maybe too.
nice,
Uh,
nice.
so, I mean, do you think is this kind of a hard one because I don't want to ask you to speak for Suzanne. Suzanne, like, unfortunately, we couldn't have her. She's too busy touring.
Right.
But you know, what kind of lessons do you think that we can learn from her story and her journey?
I think it's like the main thing I learned from making this film was even if you feel like you're not going the right direction, because that's what everyone should tell you. Like for her, it was like, you need to be a singer and play a guitar because you're a woman and that's what they do. And that's how you're going to get noticed. And she was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to make this kind of music and I want to do this. And I don't care if it's not good for my career right now. I'm going to be in it for the long haul. And I'm going to like, I don't care how successful I am because it feels good to me. And so I think for our work, it's like when I think about, are we making the right decision to make this film or that film? It's like, well, let's first think about, is my heart fully in this, and is this what we want to make? And then everything else kind of falls away after that, and you just kind of have to trust that because you're interested in it, that you're going to pour more of your heart into it and create real work instead of trying to like make other people happy. Like if we were to make something that we weren't terribly interested in, but we thought might be commercially successful, I think we'd rather make something that our hearts are in, that we feel like we're super connected to, and I think that definitely rubbed off on us from Suzanne. And I know every time we left her place, we would just sit in the car and we'd just be so inspired and by her work, and her energy just incredible. So definitely, you know, she's a powerful, you know.
Well, what is she like? What's she like as a person? I mean, she's one person as an artist. What is she like as a person?
She's like so calm. It's like I get stressed about little things or something, and you know, she is just like, well, whatever, you know, like it'll work out because you can't change it. She's very stoic and very calm about things, and she approaches things in a way that it's almost like, I know that I'm putting myself in this situation, so I'm opening myself up to fail or succeed, and I'm okay with either one of them.
Love
So
that.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna take that as my personal motto. I feel like I need a little bit of that in my life. So we're winding down in our time. I do have one question. I know it's a difficult question for any filmmaker, so feel free to just dodge me if you want to keep your lips sealed. But are you? And someone asked this in the comments actually, but are you working on any upcoming projects that we should look forward to?
Um, we just finished a documentary about a year in the life of a dying shopping mall, and we had so much fun filming that in a completely observational way, that we're like so high off of that style of filmmaking that we're trying to do another film just like that, where there's no talking heads. You only learn by watching. And I'm really into those docs, and I think that we're really trying to find something to do that. A really subversive, beautiful, you know, like documentary. It's just trying to find the right thing to do it on. It's like, I don't want to rush and pick something. We don't want to like pick something that we're not fully, we're trying not to rush. You get into that too. You're like, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm lazy. I'm like, we need to find something and do it. But I think there's value in like relaxing and just stepping back and maybe letting something come to you. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We have some ideas, but nothing has like made us like want to pull the trigger completely.
I think that's the forever predicament of an artist, right? But channel Suzanne.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Except she can sit down and create like the entire universe anytime she wants, right in front of her hands. So she's just the best.
Hey, what's the doc called? Someone's asked in the comments. What's the new doc called?
It's called Jasper Mall.
Okay, we'll look out for it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So we're reaching near the end of our time tonight, but the time has come for everyone's chance to win an LG Velvet 5G phone. Super fun. Yeah, the first person who can answer the following question in the comments will win. So if you're ready, and Brett, you can't answer, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so here's the trivia question. Which famous 1975 film did Suzanne Ciani do the sound effects for? And if you know the answer, just put it in the comments. This is the test to see if you're paying attention.
I bet one of my nieces is probably texting me to tell her right now, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to cheat. I won't cheat.
No cheating here at Hot Docs.
Whoever is going to win is going to be the fastest on Google.
Yeah, it's not Star Wars. It's not Logan's Run.
No.
Look, can we give a hint? What's a good hint? Yes.
Someone got it?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Someone got it.
Good
Congratulations. So Consoline, Hot Docs will be getting in touch with you probably via DM in the next 24 hours, and you are now the proud new owner of a phone. So
it's a cool phone.
It's a cool phone. Yeah, we will have one. Okay, so that's the end of our time tonight. Unfortunately, this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you are a musician or you're a producer or you know someone who is, tell them to watch this film. It's so special. For our next Q&A of this series, it will be tomorrow night at 9, talking about the Toronto basketball film True North, right here on the Hot Docs Instagram. But until then, thank you so much, Brett, for your time and talking to us, and thanks everyone for watching.
Thanks for having me on.
All right.